So back in April of 2019, when I was at Star Wars Celebration Chicago, I was approved to actually be in the Mandalorian panel. So I got to witness Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau talking about the Mandalorian along with the cast. And there were some things I noticed, and I posted on my Instagram when I was reviewing that panel. Just a couple of things. The first thing was that the cast seemed to really enjoy being a part of the Star Wars family. I was excited to see Carl Weathers was going to be in the show, and he did great tonight. I mean, his part was small on that first episode, but he brought the gravitas, if you will, to the franchise or to this series. Kind of like playing the Alec Guinness type role, I suppose, which is kind of fun to see. Let's see. The other thing I noticed back then was that the biggest thing for me was Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. I believed it then, and I believe it now, that these two, especially after watching this episode, I believe that these two should be in every major conversation that takes place about the future of Star Wars. They truly do. I believe they understand the medium better than anybody. They understand what the fans want and are unashamed to deliver fan service that doesn't diminish compelling storytelling, which is huge. Very important. They're students of George Lucas. They seem to be an excellent team, utilizing each other's strengths for the franchise. And Favreau, with his script writing and his storytelling, and Filoni with his knowledge of the universe, the fans, and experience in delivering good Star Wars on television. I think they're going to make for a fantastic duo in bringing us some great Star Wars content if they continue down the path like they did with this first episode. Let me talk about this. Let me just share just a couple quick thoughts about this episode. I loved the feel of the show. I love the vibe of like the spaghetti western type vibe that it brought. Kind of had that the Mandalorian kind of played as the Clint Eastwood type character that you see in those spaghetti westerns of the 70s. Really enjoyed that. I thought that the Easter eggs in the show were great. Specifically, seeing aliens that we were familiar with. That's something I think that has been lacking in the sequel trilogy on the big screen. There just hasn't been enough of that familiarity for me as a 40 some odd year old long Star Wars fan. So I've been missing that, and this show had it. And that was one of the things they mentioned back at the Star Wars Celebration panel, was that, hey, if you're a 40 some odd year long Star Wars fan, you're going to like this show. We've got some things for you in this. That's what Jon Favreau said, and he delivered. Just in the first episode, they delivered that. I loved the laying of the foundation of the Mandalorian lore. We didn't get much on the character. The only thing that we really did get as far as character development or backstory is that you understand through some flashbacks that he was a child ripped apart from his family during what looks like the Clone Wars, because you saw some of the you saw some of the battle droids. So it looked like he was separated from his family, and I don't know, somehow became a Mandalorian, or he was Mandalorian, and I don't know. I suppose we're going to find out. But they laid that foundation of how he was impacted and affected by the Clone Wars. I loved seeing the IG droid. I thought that was fantastic. Seeing him in action, not just, standing on the bridge of a Star Destroyer like a statue. So it was really fun to see him in action. I thought that was great. Man, I just overall, just a very positive vibes from me for this whole thing. Loved it. Can't wait for the second episode, which I think is releasing next week. We'll see. I do have to say that the Disney Plus app gave me a little bit of troubles at first, but finally got it loaded onto my Amazon Fire Stick and made it happen. But it was I think it was being overwhelmed by all of the people watching it at the same time. I will say too that I did try to get it on my Apple TV, but I have a third generation, and the Disney Plus app did not show up on that third gen Apple TV, and they don't have an app store on there, so I can't just go surf for it. So that was disappointing. So after doing some research, I just ran up to Target and picked up a Fire Stick, for $35. I figure, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. Did it, made it happen. So anyway, that's my story of getting to watch the episode. It's a great show. Looking forward to episode 2, and I'm probably going to watch this again and see if I pick up anything else from it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button if you don't mind, and then also drop a comment if you watch the show. Let me know what you think, and go visit my Instagram at KSGeekman, and let me know what you think of the show. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment and give it a thumbs up, and maybe consider following the Kansas Geek Man channel. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter over at KS Geekman.